Okay, let's open up the beginning of the parsha. This is just an incredible taking a part of a rashi and a remarkable hero and avodas Hashem. So open up the Chumash if you are in the Chittas booklet. It's on page Kuf Hey Beis.
I gotta get an English Chumash.
First pasuk in this parsha, the parsha of Vahoya Kisavai. So it's in the Chittas booklets. It's on the page Kuf Pei Beis. So the first story of the parsha is about the story of Bikurim. The Torah says that when Yidden enter the Holy Land, there was a mitzvah, a special mitzvah of taking Bikurim from the 7 fruits of Eretz Yisrael. A person goes down, takes the best of the first fruits, and he collects them, and he puts them in a basket. And Chazal describe how the Yidden would make. There was a procession of how they would all march up to Yerushalayim and deliver the Bikurim.
Very soon we're going to see it, Bezrat Hashem.
Amen v'yamen. It was done with great fanfare, and there was a special thing that a Yid was supposed to say to the Kohen when he delivers the Bikurim.
Which is
Bikurim.
That's say this volume.
Okay, so let's look at the first pasuk. Vahoya kisavi v'goymer. Rashi is trying to quote the whole pasuk. It doesn't really quote. It just says Vahoya kisavi v'goymer v'yedishta v'yashafta ba. You will come to the land that the Eibishter gave to you as an inheritance. V'yedishta v'yashafta ba. You will inherit the land and you will sit. That means settle in the land. So Rashi says, Magid. This teaches us. They were not obligated in the mitzvah bikurim until they conquered the land and they divided the land. The Sifrei brings up
when they
the Gemara says it was after the 14 years. There's a Sifrei that said that's the halach. Gemara says it was after the 14 years. The Gemara is in Kedushin of Lamatzai. Okay. As usual, it seems like a very simple rashi. The Torah says you will inherit and settle the land. Rashi wants to explain what does it mean to inherit and settle. It means after they conquered and split the land, all the 12 tribes, each one got its land and every individual got his land. That's what the Torah means when the Torah says you will inherit and you will also settle the land.
It's not double and triple lashon.
2 things. You will have to conquer, and even after you conquer, you will have to settle it. The Gemara says it took 7 years for each one of these 2 steps. Kaim alon, a sum total of 14 years. It took them 14 years to get to this stage that was considered, that Israel was considered conquered and settled. So when we say Yirishta, V'yashafta, these 2 words, it seems that Rashi just wants to explain what it means. It means that you will, the 7 years of conquest and the 7 years of splitting and settling everyone in their places.
Nachla, it's not Yerusha? Seems like it's the same. I'm giving you Nachla.
Yeah.
It's the same.
You'll give you a Nachla. Then V'yirishta, when you will conquer it, and V'yashafta, you will split it, I'm going to give you a gift. That's what it seems that Rashi is saying, and it's true, Rashi is saying that. But the Rebbe has a few questions over here. If Rashi was simply just coming to translate and explain the words Yirishta V'yashafta, he just has to say 2 words. He just has to say 2 words, Kibush V'chiluk. Kibush V'chiluk. That's it. You want to know what these 2 words mean? Yerusha v'yeshiva, double lashon. What does it mean? Rashi will explain. General, when Rashi says Magid, which part of the Haggadah are we talking about? Magid, Rochza, Moitza. Very few places. Very good.
I saw that
Magid. You never noticed that. We're not Pesach now. Where did Magid come here?
Where does Rashi say Magid? Why
Right.
does he use the word Magid?
Why does he use the word Magid? Very good. In general, the Rebbe's formula in Rashi, that Rashi only uses Magid if the words of the pasuk are extra. This pasuk doesn't belong here. These words are totally superfluous. So the Rashi says, don't think these are extra words. Magid, it's coming to tell us something, like the Haggadah. It's coming to tell us something. You might think it's telling us nothing. We know it all already. You would think we know everything. Magid, listen up, there's a chidush here. So the question is, what's this big Magid? In other words, Rashi is expecting we all know something already, and we say that this pasuk is extra. So what's going on over here? Also, all the details of Rashi says, Magid shel neschayvel bebikurim. We know we're talking about bikurim. Achikovshu es ha'oretz v'chikua. Obviously, we're talking about the land. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Persian carpets. We're talking about the mitzvah bikurim. We're talking about the land. Rashi's saying something here. Okay. If you don't mind, in order to better understand this Rashi, we have to look back to Rashis. Put your bookmark right here, and let's go back to look at two other Rashis. This way, we'll clearly understand this Rashi. One Rashi we should look is in the previous parsha, Yud Zayin Yud Dalet, 1714. Yud Zayin Yud Dalet. It's on page Kuf Lamed Beis, if you're in the Chitas booklets. Again, Shoftim, it's in Dvarim, 1714. 1714. 1714.
כי תבוא לארץ. ישתה וישבת בה,
Everyone got it?
Yep.
שים
Okay.
עליה מלח.
So, over there, it's very, very, very similar wording to here. Very similar wording.
All the way
Again,
up.
it's kitavoyu, right? It says the same words as here.
Yeah. Hashem lokecha.
Over there it says Kisavo yelo oretz. Kisavo yelo oretz. Asher Hashem alakecha noisein loch v'yerishta v'yeshafta ba. Same words.
Beside the word nothing.
כל
Yeah. V'yerishta v'yeshafta ba. Right. Exactly. Besides the word nachla. V'amarta, you will say, Yosim alai melech, I want to place upon me a king. Chol hagoyim asher. Sim tosim alecha melech, you should place a king. What kind of king? Mikerev achecha, from your brothers. Lo tuchel osas alecha ish nocher asher lo yachicha. A foreigner may not be a king upon you. All the laws of the king here. Okay. Do you see Rashi explaining what the word v'yerisha v'yeshaftaba is? No. Rashi doesn't explain. That means if Rashi doesn't explain it, he assumes you know what it means.
Or explain it.
Okay, so if last week the Torah says v'yerishta v'yasaftaba, and Rashi doesn't explain what it means. Why? You know what it means. Next week it says v'yerishta v'yasaftaba, Magid. Last week when the Torah told me you'll come to the land, v'yerishta v'yashaftaba, I knew what it means. All of a sudden, what is it?
Maybe he was tired that day.
Exactly. I see you listening up to the shiur. What is it? Rashi was tired? He said, well, next time we'll explain it. This week, next week.
Well, here I said, והיה if you come to the land,
No, it
and
says
here it
ki.
says, כי תבוא. No,
Ki? Oh, it says v'hoya ki. V'hoya, and here it
What's
says
that,
ki.
yeah?
I don't know.
If
Could be
you
when
come
you
in.
start. Could be when you start. I mean, it has no difference to the words v'yerishta v'yeshaftaba. I mean, it's a good
Right, but
question.
והיה כי תבוא, that's the-
Why it starts here with v'hoya, I would assume, is when you start a new discussion, you have to start it. Ki is like in middle of a sentence. You have to start it. Ki tavoy.
Repeat. Repeat.
I don't know if it's. I think it's because the beginning of a sentence or middle of a sentence. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
But then lekuti is the wood beyond the
Yeah.
There's no problem over there.
Right.
Here is a problem.
So let's go back one more Rashi earlier. That's in Bamidbar in Pasha Shlach. in this Chitas booklets on page Kuf Chav. Put, by the way, a bookmark in here too. So go back in page Kuf Chav. Page Kuf Chav is 1518. 1518 in Parsha Shlach Lecha. 1518. Tezvav Yud Ches. 1518. It says about the mitzvah of Chala. V'daber Hashem al Moshe Leimah. Daber Bnei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people. V'amarta leim b'voychem l'oretz, when you come into the land Asher Neimei v'yichtum shama, that I bring you there. V'hoya b'acholchem aleichem l'oretz, when you eat from the land, from the bread of the land. Torima truma reishis aritzuseim chala. You have to do a piece of dough and give it to the kohen. Again, it's on page Kuf Chav. Page Kuf Chav in Pasha Shlach Lecha, that's in Bamidbar. You have to go all the way back to Bamidbar, to Pasha Shlach Lecha, and it's in page Kuf Chav. Look at the Rashi in the first column. The Rashi, Bevoyachem al Oretz. Rashi says, Mishuna biyazu mikol biyashe b'toyre shebekulam nemer ki tovoi or ki tovoi u. It says, usually when it says when the Yidden are going to come to the land, when they get the promise, they're going to, it says, Ki Tavei, when you will come. Not Bivoyachem, when you will come. Right. So why over here is it different? So Rashi says, Lefikach kulam lameid zumizu. All the times it says Ki Tavei, they're equal. They're the same thing. It means the same thing. Because here the Torah says by one of them that it means that after Afkulan, whenever it says Kitavoy, it means go back to Parshas Bamidbar, page Kuf Chav.
So here's the question: is it strong? Here you already answer. Next parsha it doesn't.
Afkulan came. Every time it says Kitavoy, it means after Yerusha V'Yeshiva. Rashi doesn't explain what Yerusha V'Yeshiva means. Again, Rashi assumes you know what Yerusha V'Yeshiva means. It means after the 14 years, which it took them 7 years to conquer and 7 years to split the land. Again, Rashi here assumes that you know everything. He just says that whenever it says Kitova, it means that you need to wait for the years of Yerusha and Yeshiva. Avkul and Cain, they're all the same. Avodzu, this one by Chala is different. It says Bavoyachem. As soon as they went in, and they ate the bread and schayva b'chala, they were right away. It couldn't say Kitova. If it said Kitova, right away I would say that this is like every Kitova. And every time it says Kitavoy, it means you have to wait the 14 years of Yerusha Yeshiva. And the Torah says no, Chala is different. The day they went in and they ate the Chala, as soon as the first batch of dough was made, they were Chayav Chala. That's why it doesn't say Kitavoy, it says Bevoyachem. Okay. Now that we have these three Rashis lined up, we can get into it. So, again, the first, so we have in Pasha Shlach Lecha, Rashi, it assumes you know what Yerusha Yeshiva means. He doesn't explain what it means. That it means the years that it takes to do the war and to do the settling and splitting in the land. He just says Yerusha Yeshiva. He assumes you know. Second time he assumes you know. Third time he wakes up to tell you the pshat, what's going on, and also all these words that Rashi is saying. Okay. So. There is a Meforish, the Sifsacham, that says like this. Here there is different. The story here is different. When I come in to a land, we're talking about having a king. We don't need a king yet. Let's first finish splitting the land, inheriting the land, and then we'll have a king. The truth is, the Gemara says a similar thing. We'll get to the Gemara soon. But Poshet, Poshet. But over here, I would say there should be Chayev. I would think that the Torah, would obligate a person to immediately give bikurim. Why? Because bikurim is similar to making a bracha before you eat. Why would I say that you should wait 14 years before you start making a bracha before you eat? Bikurim is now it's Hashem's land. I'm taking his fruits. So first I give him the fruits, and then it's like I make a bracha before you eat. Before you eat, you have to make a bracha. So why should I wait? Therefore, if the Torah didn't explicitly say v'yerishta v'yashafta ba, that's why Rashi is saying magi. That Rebbe says that now we can understand based on the Sicha. We can understand magid. Magid means it's a special thing that's teaching us by bikurim. I would think differently. Really, whenever it says kitovoi, tove means after the years of Yerusha v'yeshiva. So, but why does the Torah have to tell it us here? And the Gemara Tak asks this question. The Gemara says the komishani, but over here is different because you're having pleasure. What does it mean komishani? You're having pleasure. The Gemara says in Daf Lamed Zayin in Kedushin. So the Sifsei Chum says it means because bikurim is like birchas hanen. The Rebbe likes the premise of the pshat that I would think that bikurim you should do right away. That's why the Torah, even though we already know that kitove means after the years of Yerusha v'yeshiva, but by bikurim I would think right away. You should right away have to do it, but not because it's birchas hanana. Not because of birchas hanana. The obvious question you will have as against this pshat is birchas hanan.
Wait 1 second. So by melech, when you come in, by the way, put melech.
Over there, the Torah says you have to wait for the years to understand why. Because Yeshua is now with the Yidden, they're fighting the land. What do you need a melech right now? You say, once you already split the land and everyone's living, we need someone's going to make a seder. You know, everyone's going to, there's going to be no traffic lights, there's going to be no police, we need a king. But you didn't yet conquer the land, so it makes sense. But over here by Kurim, and why should I wait 14 years?
It makes more sense to say.
Therefore, if the Torah just said Kitovoi, I would think no, I have to right away do Bikurim. Therefore, the Torah has to add the words V'yirishta v'yashavta, but to say no, you have to wait 14 years. So the general premise of the pshat that Rebbe likes, but just not the idea of because it's similar to Birchas Hanenin. The obvious question is,
what is it?
Birchas Hanenin? The Torah, according to the Torah, there's no such thing. The only Birchas Hamazon Yechayev. Only Birchas Hamazon Yechayev. There's no Birchas Hanenin. So you're going to say, if the Torah only said the words Kitavoi, I would think, no, you have right away to be Kurim. It's like a bracha. Yechayev to make a bracha. But the bracha only the Rabbanon made. You can't say that this is backwards thinking.
Right.
The Rabbanon doesn't explain a pasuk in the Torah.
But it's the concept of Birkas.
But that concept, the Torah halt nicht from this concept.
No.
The Rebbeinu Shalom halt nicht. The Rabbanon made the concept.
No, I'm not talking about the saying the bracha, but the hanad. The minute Torah is no.
Before the Rabbanon came, there was no such hanoche. The Rabbanon, HaMachadish given a hanoche. The emes is it's not a kasha rashi because there's a maram shik that's mechiach. In the Rashi holds in the Gemara, there are few Rishonim that hold, very very few, that there are Achronim that hold, that Rishonim that hold, that the making a bracha is a din d'oraisa.
On bikurim or on food?
All, and the Raya in our pasuk is that Rashi says that when a person speaks to the Kohen and he makes the Vidoy Ma'aser, he says, yeah, lo shachachti. I didn't forget. What does it mean? Lo yavarti mitzvah lo shachachti. Rashi says, I didn't forget to make the bracha when I did the mitzvah of Trumas Ma'aser. The Torah tells you, don't forget the mitzvahs d'Rabbanon. It's a mitzvah d'Rabbanon. It doesn't make sense. The Teibisha says that when you come to the Kohen, you have to tell him, Lo yavarti mitzvah lo shachach. I didn't forget. I didn't forget to make the bracha when I did the mitzvah of Trumas Ma'aser. But the Torah never asked you to make that bracha. Well, obviously, according to Rashi, the Torah did ask you to make that bracha. So that, according to Rashi, this is Nishkin Kasha. I think I once, more than once told you, it's more than the Kevorts from the Ponim Meidus. The Ponim Meidus says about Naftali, Ayolo Shlucha, his fruits. So the Targum says that that the fruits are such delicious fruits, the moedim avorchim alayim, that they make a bracha on his fruits. So he said, a bracha? And the Eibush says, don't make a bracha. The Rabbanan said to make a bracha. So he says, beautiful. He says like this: who is buried in the land of Naphtali? Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Who is Reb Shimon Bar Yochai? The author of the Zohar. The Zohar holds that Birchas Hanenan are all the Raisa. Ba'asra the Rav know of Karav, where Rav is he's the boss. You have to listen to him. The Eibush says in Naphtali, the Zohar is going to be the Bala boss. So over there, when you eat the fruits, you're going to have to make a bracha min ha-Torah. That's the Ponim Yidus. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says that the brachas have to be the rice.
Oh, Shimon Bar Yochai came from.
Can be. Why? Because they are very fast. Naftali היה שופר. ספרדים are not fast.
Some of them said, some not.
Couldn't be Lubavitch. They were very quick and they were always on time.
Shimon Bar Yochai is taught in
So where does it fit in where it says Yochanan?
The Chalta v'Savot is only for the after bracha, the Birchas Hamazon, the true. So that's not a question. But the Rebbe says it just doesn't. It doesn't. You know, the concept of Birchas Hanenan is what we call in Lomdish terms a matir. It's similar to Shtei Halechem or the Omer. That you're not allowed to eat the fruit, the wheat of Israel until they brought the Shnei Alechem, the Beis Hamikdash, or the Lechem, or the Omer, the Korban Omer. This is, for example, Truma. You're not allowed. This fruit is called Tevel. You're not allowed to eat this wheat
till you take
the Truma. If you eat before, you ate Tevel. That's terrible. You're not allowed to make a bracha. It's like you ate Chazer, right? When you take off the truma, it becomes permissible to eat this food. Right. Bikurim Rashi says in Gita, it's not that way. If you ate up the whole fruit, you lost your mitzvah saseh. But if you ate fruit before you did bikurim, it's not like you ate tevel. It's not like you ate non-kosher food. It's a different thing. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. It's not. It's not in the same orbit of Birchas Hanenan. It's obviously it's not Birchas Hanenan, but it's not even in that line of thought. It's like the Gemara says, a person can make his whole field. He say, beautiful grapes. This year I'm going all my brings to the Beis Hamikdash. You can't do that when there's a matir. It's like you can't take all the thing, make everything the korban omer. Some has to stay in the field, and some goes to the mizbeach. That's the whole idea. That some go on the mizbeach, and the rest become mutter for us to have. It's like bikurim is not to do with birkas hanenan. It's nothing to do. What is bikurim? Bikurim, and the truth is, even in Pshat, Rashi says that if it said Tovo by Chala, what would we think? That you have to wait for 14 years. Well, Chala is for sure like similar to Birchas Hanenan. And if it just said Tovo, we would say to wait 14 years. So forget about it. Not Chala is Bikurim is not similar to Birchas Hanenan. What is it similar to? It's similar to Birchas Shevach v'Hoidoah. It's similar to Birchas HaGoimel. It's similar to Birchas Shechionu. Rashi says that it's to show that you're not a kofri toiv. How does Rashi know that in Pshat? Because it says in the pasuk that when he comes to the kohen, right, in Isav Amarta, what does he say to the kohen? Higadeti hayom l'Hashem Elokecha. I came today. So Rashi says, Amarta Elov, you should say Sheina Kofar Toiv. I'm not a Kofar Toiv. How does Rashi know that in the words of the pasuk that that's a pshat? Amarta Elov. It says you should tell him, Higadeti hayom l'Hashem. I came to the Eibishter. Rashi says, Pamachas b'shanav l'shtei pom. How does Rashi know these two things? In pshat.
He was smart.
He was smart. I'll tell you what he was smart. He said, a person comes to the Kohen and he says, Higadeti hayom, I am here. The Kohen says, Adah, I see you.
Genius.
Yeah, great. You're here. I see you here.
No, come again.
So what is it? What is the Torah saying? You have to tell the Kohen, Higadati hayom. You should know. Higadati hayom l'Hashem Elokecha kibosi. I'm telling you that I came Elo Oretz. So Rashi says it means I'm telling you that I'm not a kofri toiv. I recognize that my being in this land and having a portion of the land, I don't take it for granted, and I have a koros hatoiv to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, what's the mitzvah? The mitzvah is to have a koras hatoiv. Now we think about it. It took them, say, 14 years to conquer the land and then to split it up into pieces. So there were some people.
7 years they fight and 7 years they divide.
So some people, a couple of years, and not even that. We don't.
What do you mean 7 years they divided it?
Took.
Why does it take 7 years to divide?
It took time.
Among the tribes, you mean?
It took time. Yeah, everyone had, you split up the land till everyone settles in this place and that place. It took them 14 years. Yeah, to do it fair. Some people, doesn't mean that every person after 14 years, one day everyone's okay. The boys say everyone march to your homes. Some people,
The Bikurim is not.
some people, right? Some people got their place.
Time and they,
Right? Some no. Chaim got his field.
And the 6th year.
Year 6.
And one.
Reuven got year 7. Shimon Chatzkel got it year 10.
Right, it's not the same time.
Everyone got it at a different time. So I got a field on year number 7, say. I got a field. It's a chiyuv for me not to be a kofui toiv. I'm already getting fruits for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year. Why shouldn't I bring bikurim to the Eibishter? It's not a mitzvah that's on Klal Yisrael. Number 1, it's a mitzvah on the individual. Number 2, it's to show my gratitude that I appreciate that I got my piece of land. So Zorach got his land 7 years later. Petitz got his land 7 years later. Chaim Yankel got it 8 years later. But who cares? I got my piece today. It's an individual chiyuv of me. I have to show that I'm not a kofui toiv, that I appreciate what the Eibishter gave me. So why shouldn't I bring bikurim today?
Wait till everybody.
Therefore, if the Torah just said the word kitovoi, I would think, even though usually kitovoi means after the 14 years, after Yerusha Yeshiva, after Kibbush V'chilik, here I would think it's different. Therefore, the Torah has to say it's not different. The Torah says no, it's not different. Now the question is, hagufa. So why did the Torah say it's not different? Why would the Torah not allow? I got my land today.
Yeah, but it's not fair that one would give and the other one is still there.
It's on the yachid. It's not on Klal
I'm
Yisrael.
eating my fruits anyway.
Yeah, he is already sitting in the restaurant and not even coming into the door.
Is that fair?
Dish.
I shouldn't show my akoras atoiv to the Eibishter?
Yeah, but I'm doing it, and
I hear.
this poor guy, he can't do it.
Hear the Rebbe's pshat. I hear. Hear the Rebbe's pshat. It's on the road of what both of you are thinking. It's on the road. The Torah says that the fruit was made ashes. Not all fruits. He only gave, Rashi says, only from the 7 fruits of Eretz Yisrael, which is Shevach Eretz Yisrael, made ashes. It has to be Shevach Eretz Yisrael. Okay, that's what Rashi said. Question is why? If it's to show gratitude, everything, for oranges, apples, bananas, papayas, only for pomegranates. Only for pomegranates I have to show my appreciation to Kodesh Baruch Hu. So you could say a pshat, which is wrong, but you could say a pshat. If someone really wants to say a pshat, he could say such a pshat. He would say, look, the Eibishter is mechuyev to give me some stuff. So the regular fruits, he's mechuyev to give me. The regular fruits, he's obligated to give me.
Sheva minim is extra.
Huh?
Sheva minim is extra.
Sheva minim is so special that I'm not mechuyev to give me.
Ma'ariv is at 9:30.
But the regular fruits is mechuyev to give me. But that is a backwards way of thinking. We know that the Eibishter tells us that a person shouldn't say that the power of my hand brought me this wealth. Not only physically, also spiritually. Say, the apples, oranges, and banana I deserve. I don't have to show appreciation for that. Oh, pomegranates, olives. Oh, for that I have to show appreciation. That doesn't go well. The Torah says, "Lo mirubchem choshek Hashem ki atam ma'atim kol ha'amim." The Gemara says that the Jews are ma'atim nesatzman. They feel humble. That they feel that everything is a matnas chinam for the Eibishter. Asher nosati lochem, I gave to you. The Jews feel veschanan, like we said. It's a matnas chinam. We feel that everything that the Eibishter gives us is a matnas chinam. that could not be the pshat. Why we only show gratitude for the 7 fruits? So what is the pshat? If it's really like a bracha of shevach v'hoidah to Hashem Yisborach, so why shouldn't we make it on everything? The answer that Rebbe Zal, incredible answer, touches on 2 sugyas that we once learned in halacha. There's 2 mitzvahs, brachas that we make all the time. One is the bracha of Hagoimel and one is the bracha of Shechion. The din in the brachas Hagoimel is that you don't make the bracha at sheyachzer laburi v'legamri until a person comes back totally to and is healed 100%. As Lubavitch Chassidim, we all remember that the Rabbi Shalom made a Moedik Nest, that Rebbe had a massive heart attack, and the Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe lived afterwards, and Larichos Yomim, those many years afterwards. And however, no one ever saw the Rebbe ben Shagoimel. So you could say there was a clandestine minyan in the basement of 770. You know, people have sightings of the Rebbe all over. Everyone and his brother-in-law had some secret sessions with the Rebbe learning Zohar HaKodesh. But pushing those pshatim aside, the simple pshat is that there has to be that chozer laburyev lagamri. That person has to be totally healed. They said that the Rebbe felt that he wasn't chozer laburyev lagamri. The doctors told him that it's a miracle, but the heart didn't go back. It's just that he's functioning, but loy chozer laburyev. That's why I didn't make a gam. The din is you have to be chozer. Person's life was in danger. Baruch Hashem, he's out sakona. He's alive and he's doing well, and years are going by. But loy chaza laburya lagamre doesn't make sure. It doesn't make the bracha lagam. Question is why? Why? Person takes a transatlantic flight. Even Ashkenazim are going to make a goyim. Sfardim will make even a local flight. This guy, his life was in danger. He was one step away from the grave. He's alive. He's good. No, loy chaza laburya lagamre. It doesn't make. Why? It doesn't make sense. Why shouldn't he thank a Kodesh Baruch Hu? So here's the Rebbe's word. The Eibishter is Shleimus HaToiv, the ultimate of good. When a person has a complete recovery, you see Begolui, everyone could see the Tachlis HaShleimus of the Eibishter's Toiv. When a person doesn't recover, obviously there's a reason for it. Obviously there's, but we don't see here the
but we don't see the Tov.
We don't see revealed way the Tachlis HaShleimus of the Eibishter. For sure the Eibishter has his reasons, but the Eibishter is, there's no nimnoas. It's not the pshat. This guy was so, the Rebbe can only heal him 80%. There's only this amount he can do. Right. So if the Eibishter heals him 100%, so you see begolui the shleimus hatoyev of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Otherwise, you don't see it begolui, so there's no bracha of Hagoyim. Same thing here. The fruits of Eretz Yisrael. That's where you see b'shleimus, because that's the beauty of Eretz Yisrael. Bananas you can get everywhere, but beautiful pomegranates and olives, that's shvach Eretz Yisrael. Where do you see the ultimate shvach of Eretz Yisrael? In the 7 fruits. This is why Rashi also says you say it once and not twice a year. Why once and not twice a year? Because we know that we only say this, that we only bring bikurim once a year, not twice. Why not twice? Because a person, the memory of a person works in a year. We say a year, for example, once a year you have to remember Amalek, minimum once a year, because after a year things start fading from the memory. Once a year, also l'gabe shechyonu. The Rebbe says that you make the bracha only once a year, a fruit that's renewed once a year. If it's twice a year, not. Now, lahalocha, the Ramos says you even a fruit that's renewed twice a year, you make shechyonu. Obviously, the Rebbe is probably learning that maybe according to the Ramah, it's twice a year. Maybe according to the Machaber, it's only once a year. I don't know. But
not every new fruit you make shechiyah.
It has to be that it's totally new. If it's been around on the market,
Don't take a nap.
then it's not. But the shaila is, a fruit. Most fruits have only once a year. The season is only once
Not
a
in
year.
America.
Not in America.
But there are fruits that it could be twice a year. Theoretically, today, when you have things in hot houses or you bring things on the plane from other places, it could be renewed twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, right? So there are things they bring in by plane all year round. So forget about it. There's no shechiyanu there. If it's available all year round, there's nothing. There's no shechiyanu.
You could buy anything you want. All year round.
It has to be. That's a shiloh. It has to be available to most people in most stores. Not
Right, it's very expensive.
Not right. Not in a unique store, but
Right.
like it's hard to make shechiyonu on apples in America.
Right.
Apples you can get kamat the entire
All year
year
round, yeah.
because the farmers put them in refrigerators. You know, it's like at
Vegetable
this
also.
time of year you see an apple, you say, oh, it might be from the new friend. You buy
You
an
never
apple.
know. You was in the fridge for 4 months before you
You
got
bite into it, it's more powder than apple.
No, I
You're not sure if it was in the refrigerator 8 months or 18 months.
you could something
years.
something funny. We need for my son. I need Cortland apples.
Yeah.
Only Cortland apples. When you bake it in a certain way for my son,
It's
with
good.
Special needs, yeah. No store in the entire New York, every supermarket, for 2 months straight, they were not available.
Why?
You know that what?
They weren't. They stopped. They'll be available. They all said they'll be available in another 2 months. So, we found a store. We found a store which had them. They didn't taste that great, but it could be. They get them. How did they get them? Oh, they told us we're storing them in a room. We bought quantity before
Because
the
they know
end of
people
the
who want
season,
it, we are the only
and
ones
they aren't the
that-
freshest. But people need. We bought a quantity, and we'll have them an extra several weeks. This is the mice.
It's more expensive?
It wasn't what I said. They weren't the best Cortland apples, but the only reason I was able to find them, this store had them because he put them away.
The truth, I tell you, I don't believe in this Cortland apple, this apple, this apple. Because you come to the store, you see the Spanish put this paper here, this paper here, this.
That makes the shit this apple.
Yeah, exactly.
They're back. They're back.
Yeah.
Can I have some Cortland apple? It takes like few from here, few from here. Cortland apple.
Go to Van Cortland.
Vancouver, yeah.
So B'meila, back to our sugya.
Big that.
That's why simcha is something that simcha is once a year. Bottom line is that the whole thing of bikurim is when I feel in my heart simcha. So again, what was our question?
Why don't we do it all
Why
the
is it we thought that you might have to make the Tovo right away? I got my piece of land, I got my house, I got my farm, there's fruits. I have to show my gratitude to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Why should I wait 14 years? I have to show my simcha. The answer is, if there's another Yid that still doesn't have his farm, my simcha is not a simcha. How can I be besimcha? Another Yid valgertzach, he's roaming around.
He said it. They're upset.
I said you're going on the right road. I said that.
He's on the right road.
I said that.
But Bikurim is a refraining from eating. You have to bring.
Bikurim means that I'm coming to the kohen and I declare, Samachti, I am happy.
Hayom.
And
Why
I,
Hayom?
I'm,
Because everybody is happy Hayom.
so how can I say I'm happy? I'm not happy. I'm rejoicing.
Wait, doesn't it take a time for the fruits to grow? It takes a year. It takes a couple of a year.
4
or
years.
two?
Because
For
the
the-
3 years of
for
Arla, when the 5th year you could bring. Still, they took them 14 years. Some people got it right in the beginning.
Oh, so you're talking about
The people that
got it
settled-
at the end.
Yeah, the people that settled in Yericho. Yeah, so they were already living there for 14 years before the last year. But do we say that this whole thing is a bracha of shevach v'hodah to show my gratitude of my great simcha, the samachta. The samachta b'chol hatoyv. Simachti. Not only I have simcha, I gave simcha to another yid. If there's one yid that's still not settled, how can I be besimcha? How can it be besimcha to me if that yid is still roaming around and he still didn't get his portion of the land? The Alter Rebbe says about davening, a person shouldn't talk in the middle of tefillah because that's a bizoyin to the king, where everyone's praising the king, and he is talking to someone else about the price of rice in China. This is shame. It's not Chicago. Alter Rebbe writes, how about someone that doesn't appreciate He doesn't appreciate it. But he should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. Even if he doesn't appreciate the mile of the Melech and understands the whole thing of Tefillah, he should be embarrassed. Everyone's talking to Rabbi Shalom and he's talking to Dvarim B'Teilim. He should be embarrassed. The Rebbe says the same thing here. Even a person that feels besimcha, he come to the Kohen and say, Gadati Ayoim, I want to tell you today, Kibose Elohoretz, and I feel such simcha. How he's embarrassed. There's Yidden that are never still roaming around, and they're nomads. They still can get their piece of land, and I'm going to come and say that I'm besimcha. It's not shaykh. The whole thing of Bikurim is to show my gratitude and my simcha. And as long as there's one Yid that still doesn't have his piece of land, I can't feel simcha. This is the whole idea of Chai Elul. Chai Elul is the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. And the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe showed us what, the gewalt of how to have Avos Yisrael to another Yid. The Alter Rebbe was a young man. He got married. He was 15 years old. He got a huge dowry. He made a condition with his father-in-law. His father-in-law thought he was going to give advice to his son-in-law on how to do business. So he made a condition that the Nedunya Zayashain, he said. It's a huge amount of money. But you cannot give me advice of what to do with the money. No deal. The marriage is contingent on the fact that the Nedunya I get and you give no advice. Take it or leave it. He took it. So the Alter Rebbe said, okay, that was the deal. Why was the Alter Rebbe so insisted? What was so insisting? His father-in-law can't give him opinions about what to do with the Nedunya. Because you have to hear what he did with the money. Right after the Chasna, he went and he bought a huge piece of land from Aporitz, and he got dozens of Jewish families. He split up the land, and he went out and he took the rest of the money, and he got them mechvezvos tractors, horses.
What do they need?
Yeah, and that was his pleasure. That Yidden should have that Yidden should have a parnosa, and that was the derech of the Baal Shem Tov.
I have a question.
Yeah.
We said that how you give Bikurim if you know someone is not happy.
Yeah.
Shevet Dan, you not have Nachla. You weren't happy.
The double nachla. They were not happy with their nachla. They went up north and they did double the nachla.
Maybe Shevet Gad, maybe. One of the Shvatim.
God, they got even before the 14 years started. They got
half in Israel. Shevet Levi.
Look, there was even after the 14 years, there were pieces of land that were not settled yet. At a certain point, it's been declared that by and large, it's been settled. The mitzvah of the Torah was ma'at. They were not allowed to just kill out the cities and kill out all the goyim and leave empty swaths of land. So it wasn't even possible. It wasn't like to say they were going to kill all the goyim, and then slowly the Torah said you're going to kill as much goyim as you need, settle the land, and then eventually, when the nation will grow, you'll conquer more land. In Tanakh, we find, for example, certain tribes eventually grew so big, and they outgrew their land, but they knew that they deserved more land, and they went and they conquered more, like Don. They said, oh, well, our land here is too small. They went up north and they conquered more land. But that's not that they were nomads, they didn't have, and they settled, and then they had children and grandchildren, the families grew, and they needed more space. So they went to the places which really belonged to them, and they went and killed out a couple more goyim and settled the land. But after 14 years, it was considered that every Yid has their place. Can I tell you, I wasn't there to tell you if there were 3-4 Yiddelach that was still not settled. I don't know. But that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says that after this amount of time, every Jew had his... So we're saying...
the Jew didn't settle, but his shevet, we come from, settled.
But no, maybe every single Jew settled. That's true in Tanakh. There were later wars, but it doesn't mean that they were not settled. After 14 years, every Yid was settled. Every Yid had his house. Every Yid had his cow. Every Yid had his driveway. Every Yid had his barn. Every Yid had his field. Baruch Hashem, Ishtach Gafnu V'Chtach. Why do we find in Tanakh that years later there were wars to conquer more land, like Shevet Dan? went up north because the families grew. That's presumed. That's to answer your question. The Gemara says that after 14 years, everyone is settled. So that's the answer that Rebbe gives to us. Why is it? If it would just say Tovo, I would think Bikurim, you have to show gratitude. Show it right away. Bring Bikurim the first day. That's why the Torah is saying no v'yirishta v'yashafta. You have to wait the 14 years of that. Magid. The extra words over here teach us no, that you have to wait the 14 years. But why really? Why do you have to wait? I have my land today. Why should I wait 14 years to show my gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? The answer is because Bikurim is to show my simcha. And if there's one more Yid that's a nomad, he doesn't have his land, I have no simcha. And that's what the Alter Rebbe's Chassidim used to say. The Alter Rebbe's Chassidim used to say, the shtikl brot was ich hab is deiner wie meine. The piece of bread that I have is yours like it's mine. And like, so the Rebbe says, na yom yom, v'hoyu makdimim milas deiner far meine. They didn't say that this piece of bread belongs mutually to both of us. They said this piece of bread, we're talking about people that were poor like anything. They ate from Shabbos to Shabbos, they ate bread. They didn't eat chicken, they didn't eat alfalfa sprouts garnished, they ate bread. Bread and water. But those poor Chassidim still were so full of Ahavas Yisrael. This piece of bread is yours. And then it's mine. They're all talking about their own piece of bread. That type of Ahavas Yisrael is something that was taught to us from the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. Someone will say...
So how does you explain why you didn't say it before, Rashi? Wait, the same word 3 times.
Because by Melech, the Torah has to say, because it's the first time it says Ki Tovoi. How do we know that the word Tovi always means Achir Sheshiva? Because by Melech it says Yirishta v'Yashafta.
So
but why does it have?
Rashi would not explain it.
Yeah, because he understands and it means Achir Yerusha.
Here is a different concept.
Right. Over here, we would just if would say Ki Tovoi, I would say here is different, and here they should right away bring Bikurim. Therefore, it says no. That even though you already had Chalukah, you already got your Chaluk, and therefore you might want to bring right away Bikurim. Said no, you can't.
Also, Melech is on everybody. Once you put a Melech, it's on everybody at one time. He has this concept. Bikurim is not.
It's for Yochid. It's a bracha. It's a chiyuv for Yochid. The Alter Rebbe, I'm sorry, the Baal Shem Tov, there's a Maisa that the Rebbe said many times. This Maisa that the Baal Shem Tov was sitting with Talmidim, and there was a goy. And the guy, one of the wheels of his wagon broke. So he wanted someone to help him. So he knocked on the window and he said, it's a bitter winter and one of the wheels of my wagon broke. Could you guys come help me? Come here, Hashem, they're sitting and learning. They're going to close this for me. They're going to go help up Sagoy to grease his wheel and fix his wheel. But what should they tell him? They should tell him no. They said, sorry, we're too shvach, we can't. So the guy said, he screamed out, Mojic na nechochich. You could do it. Mojic, you could do it. Nan yechochich, but you don't want to. Mojic, you could do it. However, nan no. Nechochich, you don't want to. So the Baal Shem Tov's face lit up. And the Baal Shem Tov says, you hear what the guy is telling us? It's gewaldig. The Baal Shem Tov, everything we see and hear is to be an Aroy and Avodas Hashem. You hear what the guy is telling us? This is tachmoidedik. You could do it. It's just that we don't want to do it. That's what the Rebbe Shem was telling us. So sometimes it seems to us that this is avodah for big chassidim and talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. But for me and you, this is for those people from yesteryear. That's why it's a pashta pshat in the first pasuk. So we say that you can't bring bikurim till 14 years. Why? Because if one year doesn't have besimcha, I can't feel simcha. And amidst Hashem, that if we go into the year with this attitude, so then we're zoicha, just like by bikurim, that when the Yid brings a bikurim, the Baskol gives him a brocha and tells him Lashon Haba, that you should come back and you should have the bracha and everything that you need. And Bona Chaim Azayna Revicha.
What about the regular? What's the terrace?